Hello, everyone. Started off a little different today. I recognize that for the past couple of times when I've gone live, I haven't been going live on all platforms. For some reason, Facebook has been a little finicky where sometimes it allows me to go live and sometimes it does not, but mostly it allows me to go live just to myself. But hopefully I have corrected that today. So, hello, everyone. Lapora Lindsay here, a keynote speaker and workshop facilitator, specifically on topics of professional development. I'm so happy that you all are joining me, whether you are joining me live. If you are joining me live, be sure to let me know where you are joining me from. Or if you are joining in the replay, be sure to let me know that you are catching the replay. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you all on today. So, one of the things that kind of drives me in order to do these lives is just as being a military spouse, one of the things I've been faced with is a lot of rejection, is a lot of questioning. How am I valuable in the workplace? And so, all of the topics that I speak on as it relates to professional development really does delve into you, where you are right now in your career. How are you able to excel? How are you able to help others? How are you able to improve that? So, if you have questions during the live, feel free to go ahead and put it in there. Let me know where you're joining in from. I'm happy to hear from you. All right, y'all. So I mentioned that today we're talking about networking. And one of the things that I know about networking is that some people love it and some people avoid it, like the clothes in your dryer. Right. You know how sometimes you got those clothes in the dryer and I know they're there and I know I need to take them out the dryer, but I just don't, and then when you do take them out the dryer, you still don't do nothing with it. Is it just me? Okay, y'all. Okay, maybe it's just me, but I know some of y'all got those clothes in the dryer, right? That need to come out. And it's the same thing with networking where we need to network, we need to develop these relationships with people, but we don't quite either know how to do that, or maybe we're fearing that we don't have enough. Now, I'm not going to sit here and state that I am a networking expert because I'm not a networking expert. But what I am is a value expert. And what that means is how do you bring value to conversations? How do you bring value to people's lives right where you are right now? So, I wrote about an experience that I had a couple of years ago, and I will share this with you. It was when I had initially started my business at the time, and I was really nervous, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to get out there and I'm just going to network and meet people and have all the, just learn from people and be able to share what I can. And I was speaking with one person, and towards the end of that phone call, I made the request and I said, hey, I know that I'm new in the business. However, if there is anything that I can do for you in your business, please let me know. And I don't know the exact wording of what I said, but the guy just kind of, laughs a little bit like, huh, well, I could probably do more for you than you could do for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. Right. I was a little bit offended. I was a little bit put off by that, but mostly I was discouraged. And I felt like, well, why did I even make that request? Why did I even ask? I was starting to question myself. Like, am I even in a position when it comes to networking to make an offer? Well, it was probably a couple of weeks later. I had a similar conversation with someone else. And towards the end of the conversation, I was starting to get really nervous about it. And I was like, okay, I'm still going to make the request. At the end of the conversation, I was like, hey, you know, I know that, and this person was years ahead of me. I'm talking about decades ahead of me. And I still made the request that if there was anything that they needed, please let me know. And they just paused for a moment and then they responded, you know what? There is. And then at that point, they told me what I could do to be able to help them. And I was really shocked that I had that ability to be able to potentially help someone. And I wasn't able to do anything immediate for that person, but it was probably maybe about 2 months later where I had actually come across someone who would have been a really good potential contact for the second person that I met. And so, because of that, I made that referral. And the second person that I met, who was decades ahead of me, was able to benefit from our conversation. And so there's a few things that we can learn from this. Number one, when we're talking about the value in networking, is that everybody needs something, y'all. Everybody needs something, whether it is a connection, whether it is um a resource, whether it is a friend, whether it is someone to listen to. I don't know. Everybody needs something. And so when we start to distance ourselves, oh my goodness, distance ourselves from networking as being this is I need to get something or I need to give somebody something only, we miss out on the opportunity that because everybody needs something, if our focus is on getting to know that person, if our focus is on, is there something useful I can share? If it is on, can I connect them to someone? If it is on, maybe even being able to encourage them and affirm them where they are, that is how we bring value to any conversation. And a lot of the conversations that I have been having lately have been surrounded around, oh, yeah, my earring decided it did not want to be a part of this conversation. So we're just going to let it sit right there. So I'll just turn this way. No, but so our conversations, right, could be or the conversations that I've been having a lot lately have been surrounded around as adults, right? Why are we not networking? And one of the things I've discovered is because we feel like maybe we do have all those boxes checked. Maybe we do have all of the connections we need. We do have all of the relationships we need. But that is a false positive because the more we expand our network, the more we get to know people, then the more we are able to, when it comes down to crunch time and we need someone to just listen, or we need someone at the late night hour, like whatever that case may be, we have someone to reach out to because we're consistently expanding our network and nurturing our network. And so here are some tips or some things just to kind of keep in mind. Number one, let me make sure I'm not missing anyone in the chat. If you are just joining in, be sure to let me know where you're from or where you're dialing in from. Or if you have any questions, you can feel free to type those in the chat as well. So we're talking about networking today, and just really about how can you bring value to that table. And y'all, we only got like 5 minutes, so let me summarize this real quick. So some tips based off of that story that I shared earlier, and that is trying not to only ask for favors. Networking isn't about just what you can do for someone else or what someone else can do for you. And then that is the only time you say, hello, how are you doing? It requires consistent check ins. And no, that doesn't mean it has to be weekly. It doesn't even have to be monthly, right? Each connection will require a different set of check ins, but to only reach out to someone when you need something is not going to be beneficial for anybody. So that's one. Don't just try to reach out whenever you need a favor and you need something done. The second part about it, as we're talking about how can we bring that value to that conversation, is it's okay to meet strangers. Anybody who knows me, y'all know that I meet strangers all the time. I'm like, hey, you want to meet up? Hey, you want to meet up? And there is nothing more than I want from those conversations than to simply get to know that person and for that person to get to know me. And that leads to the third tip, which connects the two, and that is that you have to be in it for the long term. So when we're talking about bringing value to a networking, it's not about an immediate, as soon as I meet this person, they are going to benefit me or I'm going to benefit them. That's not how that works. It's about creating a genuine relationship. Remember those questions that I asked. How can I perhaps share something useful? Is there someone I can connect this person with? Or maybe even just affirming that person where they are right now. And this brings me to the second story that ties into, especially being in it for the long term. I connected with, so we recently, I say recently, y'all, we've been here probably about a year and a half in Omaha, and I've connected with a lot of people since being here. But there was one person in particular that I connected with, and the relationship started off fine. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great, getting an opportunity to meet people. But as time went on, that relationship kind of fell by the wayside. And that just happens. That's not a bad thing. That's not a negative thing. That's just life in general. But in the process of connecting with that person, I was connected with other individuals, and those relationships are still going strong. So, why am I sharing that? When we look at networking relationships, a lot of times we look at people where they are right now, just them, and thinking that is the only thing that comes from that relationships. Or when we're trying to offer our value, thinking, well, the only thing I can offer is me. But very rarely is that the case. What really it is the people you know, the conversations you can have that can potentially lead to other opportunities down the road. And no, this isn't going to be something that happens in 1 week or maybe 2 weeks or maybe even 6 months. None of that. But this is something that happens over time, especially if we are intentional with what we have to offer. And it's so that value that we're offering, it's not always just going to come back to that particular person. Sometimes it is the other people that we meet while we are connected. So value in conversations or value in networking, it isn't about the right here, right now. It's about truly getting to know someone. It is about developing a relationship. It is about asking questions and being more interested than we are interesting. So turning that focus on the people that we are speaking with, because we never know who we have value for, who the experience that we may share with others, how that can benefit other individuals. And that's so important to remember as we are approaching these conversations, is that it's not about where you are right now. It's about getting to know people, understanding where they're coming from, and then being able to share it. All right, y'all. So I always like to leave you with a little challenge for the week. And my challenge for you is that the next time you are at a networking event, or perhaps you are in a conversation with somebody that you aren't particularly familiar with, I want you to ask, what can I get from this? And no, I'm not talking about um, like what goods can I get or what information can I get, but more so, what can I gain from it? What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this conversation? How can I challenge myself in this conversation? What value can I add here to this conversation? And asking yourself, I think I may have misworded that at the beginning, y'all, but asking yourself, um, what value can I add will make all of the difference, because it's not about what can you just gain, as in what can you walk away with, but what can you gain, as in what growth opportunities are available to you. And so attend those networking events, take those clothes out of the dryer, right? And realizing that networking, it's not being the loudest, it's not about having the most right now resources. It is about what you are able and willing to give in that moment, even if it's a listening ear, because everybody needs something. Everybody and everyone has something that we are able to give as we have those conversations. All right, y'all. I don't see anyone in the chat. So I hope that this 15-minute live was something that maybe you can walk away with a couple of nuggets. If you're catching me towards the end of this, be sure to catch the replay. I go live every Sunday at 5:30 Central. Um, and hey, if you have those questions, feel free to ask those questions, or you can send them to me throughout the week, and perhaps it's something that I can cover at an upcoming live. I hope that you all have a great week, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your week. And remember to stay adding value. All right, y'all. Have a good one.